Welcome back to the most news in the morning. It's 20 minutes to the top of the hour on this Independence Day. There's a big push for an airline passenger's Bill of Rights. But should passengers have to follow their own code of responsibility when they fly? Joining us to talk more about that is Bruce Weinstein. He's the ethics columnist for Businessweek.com, better known as the ethics guy. So you say that, harkening back to the old days of flight, the old school thing, when people used to get dressed up, they would be almost very formal when they got on a plane. They don't have to do that, but you say that passengers need to adhere to some sort of code of responsibility.
Yes, with rights come responsibilities, and passengers certainly have a right to be treated respectfully if we're stranded on the tarmac for 10 hours, but we also have responsibilities to the crew, to one another, and to the institution of flying, if you will. It used to be an elegant experience. Why can't it be like that again? Why can't it be civil?
So you've got this idea of a whole number of points that you think that that passengers should keep in mind when they got on an aircraft. And the very first one that you talk about is be courteous to airline staff.
Unbelievable. Well, most delays are not the fault of the airline crew, so why should we take out our frustrations? It's understandable that we would be angry if our flight is canceled or delayed, but we shouldn't take it out on the ticket taker. You know what I say when I board a plane? I say to the crew, my name is Bruce, I'll be your passenger today. That's the response it gets. People like that. And you know what? I get great service. I'm not doing it to get great service, but you treat them respectfully, chances are they'll treat you respectfully.
But and you've been through this before. Maybe they're in the minority, but there certainly are people who are either ticket agents or gate agents who are apathetic. They're sometimes hostile. They don't give a whatever.
Yes.
And how are you supposed to treat those people?
It's true. Once I had a flight attendant who spritzed perfume all over herself. I mean, come on, that's not very respectful. But, the obligation to be compassionate and caring is tested in these cases, and maybe we can rise to the challenge. That's really when it's hardest, to be compassionate for people who maybe aren't that compassionate to us.
So you talk about passengers having some sort of code of responsibility when it comes to airline staff. What about their fellow passengers?
Well, again, the most important rule of all is to take other people into consideration in everything that we do. So what this means with respect to fellow passengers is don't assume the armrest is yours alone. Don't assume that other people want to have a long conversation with you. And, if you're watching something, DVD on your laptop, don't put porn or extreme violence on there, because it may offend the sensibilities of fellow passengers. Wait until you get to the hotel to watch your Janet Jameson video.
I was flying once and I got upgraded to first class, and the guy sitting beside me cut his nails throughout the flight, flicking the
disgusting.
little
What
nail
is it?
bits
How have we gotten to
floor.
this point in our society? You see it on the subway and the bus, too. I mean, come on. Just basic rules of civility. Treat other people with respect. They'll treat you with respect.
Now, I used to take the 4:30 shuttle up from Washington every Sunday afternoon. I started taking the train because the shuttle was getting canceled, but I nicknamed that 4:30 shuttle the Screaming Baby Shuttle.
Well,
what about people with their children?
It's especially difficult, when you have an unruly child. I was one of those children. My third grade teacher wrote on my report card, Bruce would be an excellent student, but his mouth is his downfall. So I understand that kids can get out of hand, but nevertheless, an airplane is not your living room. This is a public place, and we should treat it accordingly. I know it's hard, but let's have some concern for our fellow passengers.
A lot of children freak out, though, when they get on an aircraft. They don't understand that the confined space, the noises, they get scared, and they whine.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm not suggesting putting a
break.
muzzle and a leash on them, although with a couple of kids, I can see that might be a good idea. But just think about how your actions and the actions of your kids might affect fellow passengers. Don't let them kick the seat. I mean, come on. I don't even understand why we're having a discussion about this, quite frankly. Isn't this just common sense? I guess it's not common sense because that's why we're talking about it.
Passengers' code of responsibility, which I fear has less chance of getting into effect than the Passengers' Bill of Rights.
We posted on the AC360 blog so people can read all 10 rules.
All right, and they can also comment on it, which I'm sure they will.
Yes, they will.
Bruce, good to see you.
You too, buddy.
Happy 4th of July.
You too, John.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.